Everybody, the American Space Museum. I'm Marquette, and we're so glad you're with us on this episode to Stay Curious. And who is this beautiful lady I have beside me, I wonder, huh? Well,
Ellie in Space. I also am
hello.
Eliana Sheriff in real life.
Eliana Sheriff, greetings. Welcome to
Nice to
Stay
meet
Curious.
you,
Well, nice
yes.
to meet you. We're pulling off this Stay Curious episode a day after the Artemis 1 launch.
Yep.
Ellie is visiting our museum. We pulled her in here, so you'll be seeing this as a recording. And, you know, I guess between me and her, we don't need any more eye candy. So, except, so we don't have any, is what I'm saying. And we got a big laugh here. We got a crew full. Daniel DeYorn's in here. We got Carlton Bailey and Tom Usiak in our
They're
little
behind
studio.
the camera.
But this young lady, Ellie in Space, is a YouTube, very popular space broadcast. And we're behind our green screen here in our little studio. But you were a newscast person. Tell us about where you grew up, where you were cutting that breaking news that got you into YouTube and space, Ellie.
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey. I'm from Los Angeles originally, but then when I started my news career after college, I started my news career in Rapid City, South Dakota, because you start in a small market, you know, you're a small fish and you got to work your way up the ladder. So I've worked almost a decade as a reporter, an anchor, a producer. So what that means is that I know how to shoot my own stuff, edit my own stuff, and write my own stuff. So transitioning to making content for YouTube was pretty easy because I had those skills to do it all on my own.
Well,
It's a good thing this isn't live, but that's okay.
Of course, my phone's going to go off here, and that's okay. But beautiful melody there, right?
It is. It's like a...
Yeah. Well, like you, I'm used to being on the fly myself and putting up with distractions and other things there. I'll call you back, sir. But all right, there we go. Enough of that. Now, you are a long way from home, young lady.
I am. I'm a West Coaster, but it sounds like I should start probably considering living on the East Coast, because I've been to Florida now 4 times since September. Originally came in September for, well, Artemis, but luckily it actually launched. So, you know, it was a long wait. I mean, a much longer wait for the people behind the camera here, I'm sure.
Well, it was exciting. The August 29th scrub, you know, it was going to be 9 in the morning, but that evening was kind of magical out of Spaceview Park. Had a bunch of TV crews out there, like you know, having covered things. But yes, it was spectacular. This is a spectacular photograph on our green screen by Mark Usiak. And what was your impression of it?
It was amazing. I mean, it was visually so stunning, and I saw it from the Max Brewer Bridge in Titusville. And
oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, so I wasn't at the press site, but, you know, maybe eventually. But it was just, at first I was a little bummed that it was a night launch, seeing as, you know, I figured we'd all be a little sleepy. But in retrospect, it's great that it was at night, because then it turned to day, right? It was just... It's only my 3rd rocket launch that I've ever seen, and the second one, Falcon Heavy, back in October, I was fogged out. So really, I consider it my 2nd launch that I've actually seen with my eyes.
Yeah, Falcon Heavy in the fog was hard to take.
Yeah.
I was actually over on Cocoa Beach, and it was better over there seeing it from out of the fog. But well, we're talking with Ellie in Space. You want to check her video podcast out. There's her microphone. CB's over there getting a picture of me with the celebrated microphone of this young lady who's got a long experience. She may look young, but she's knows her space stuff, and you're learning a lot of space stuff.
I'm learning a lot, and I've been covering Starship and going to Starbase in Boca Chica, Texas.
Yeah, it's time out there. Let's talk there. Okay. We got to tell our Stay Curious watchers out there when she throws Starbase out there at
Starbase. Where's Starbase?
Where's Starbase?
It's almost in Mexico. It's on the very southern tip of Texas, Boca Chica, Texas. So it's about an hour from Brownsville.
Okay, and this is what's happening there that's very exciting. exactly?
Well, they're developing Starship, and the cool thing about that is if you get a chance to make the trek down there, it's not necessarily easy to get down there, but if you go down there, you can see all of this from the side of the road. And so that's a big difference from here at the Space Coast where, you can tour KSC, but you're not going to get as close to the actual development that you'll get at Starbase. And who knows how long they'll keep that, right now it's really R&D, but who knows how long they'll keep that accessible to the public, because it's not really a secret anymore. People are making pilgrimages from all over the world, actually, to see rockets being built on the beach, because how cool is that?
Yes, and this is the rocket that is going to land on the moon. And Ellie, I find NASA's not doing a good job of explaining that the Starship that has not even orbited Earth yet is what we're going to land on the moon. It's got the contract.
Yeah,
and this is what you're talking about being built out there.
We are working on that orbital launch, and I fully intend to be there. So that'll be very exciting. But yeah, I mean, these things take time, and as we know, there are delays, and we have to be patient. But I don't think it's an if, I just think it's a when. So going to Mars, it'll happen.
Absolutely, it'll happen.
We don't know.
When, yeah, you'll probably be my age when it happens, and I won't be around. Well, a lot of talk about the Artemis launch, and what I was saying about the people don't generally understand. Some people think that we were landing on the moon with the Orion spacecraft, and that is just an Uber to the Gateway,
right?
And the Gateway is going to have the Starship at it,
right?
And the Starship will probably never come back to Earth. Once it goes to the moon, there'll be multiple trips and stuff there. But even some of the NASA publicity isn't emphasizing that, how important this is out there. It's so cool that you've been out there to see that, because there's 4 or 5 of them standing out there in the open built, right?
So they have a rocket garden, and people drive up and down that road all the time. At first, it was kind of like a secret on how you could get to it. And I would post these photos standing in front of it, and you can just see the scale. It's really just amazing. And people were like, oh, did you trespass? How did you get down there? And now, because so many people are coming, they just keep that road open. But, I would encourage you to go down there while you can, because it's unclear if at some point they might close it up. That is, speaking to the locals, that is some of their concerns. So, and I would highly recommend you check out Rocket Ranch. They are the closest that you'll get to sleeping near Starbase. So they are down the road, and they have basically like kind of an Airbnb ranch house, and then you can bring your own camper, you can bring a tent, and it's a really awesome spot if you visit the area. So I made a video about that, and a lot of people have stayed there since. It was funny, the last time I was there, I was doing a live stream, and the couple that was staying in the house, they said, oh, we came from Germany because we saw your video about Rocket Ranch. So I was like, amazing that, we're connecting people from all around the world to get excited.
We're talking with Eliana Sheriff here. She has a podcast, Ellie In Space. We pulled her off the street, literally, in our museum here.
I was here for less than 10 minutes, and you're like, why don't you come on the show?
But sorry. Well, we need to boost our ratings also, okay, up there. But check her YouTube out, and check American Space Museum YouTube out. As all of you following us know, it's been important for our nonprofit. I was telling Ellie that we take seriously that we are preserving the birth of the American space age in its delivery room, Brevard County. So what do you think, what you've seen of our museum so far and the Space Coast in general?
Oh, I love it. And I barely, explored back there. So there's a lot to see. So definitely come check it out. But I thought it was interesting. You were telling me that 5 years ago, you came here you moved here to be here.
Yes, I did. I've been a space geek all my life, since I had my first telescope at age 8 and worshiping astronauts. And 60 years later, I'm so pleased to be part of this museum. I've been a writer and involved in public speaking like you, and written a weekly column on space and astronomy for over 20 years in the Tri-City region of Appalachia, Johnson City, Bristol, and Kingsport. I always say closer to Asheville, North Carolina than Knoxville. And it's I think you're passionate like me and have it in your blood to communicate with people. And when you find something you love, like space, nothing more happier to be involved with it like I am here.
Well, and it was really cool to see some of the artifacts out there. But do you want to know what my favorite part is so far?
Yes, I do.
Seeing that little girl about 7 years old out there in a spacesuit.
Oh,
She
yeah.
wants to go to Mars.
Yes, yes.
That's who we need to get excited.
That's
And
exactly right.
especially a young girl. I mean, that's part of my mission, is to get more women interested in space. And I have comments all the time saying, I'm showing my granddaughters your video. I'm showing my daughters
Oh,
your
good.
video. And so I might not be a rocket scientist, but I'm learning. But I'm trying to, use my news skills to get people excited and make it so that everyone can, understand and enjoy the idea of going to space and the moon and Mars, and have it not maybe go over their head.
Exactly. Yes. Trying to simplify space isn't always easy,
No.
filled with acronyms and all this stuff. What makes a good podcast for you? And what kind of research do you put into your shows? And how often do you do one, Ellie?
Well, mine are, I try to take my interviewing skills and do coverage that's in person. So I've flown to Scott Manley's house. Probably a lot of people that watch your show know who he is. He has 1.5 million followers on YouTube, and he knows a lot about space. So I try to bring unique content, like saying, hey, can I fly to your house and interview you? And so I want to interview experts. I talk a lot with a Harvard astrophysicist, Jonathan McDowell. So anytime I have an astronomy question, I ask him.
Yeah, I know who Jonathan McDowell is.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah. Jonathan McDowell, if you're watching this, I subscribed to your satellite tracking thing and got postcards from him in the 80s. Oh, yeah. He would I think you'd send him $20 a year or something for stamps, and he'd mail you the up to date. Thank you. Yeah, Jonathan McDowell.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he is.
But I like making these connections with seriously smart experts, and I mean, I'm just so honored that they even give me the time of day. But
yes,
to be able
I understand
to
that for sure,
have a conversation with them and have them explain things for the layperson has been really great. And I have a lot of feedback that, thank you so much for this conversation. It's free, and it's giving people access to this knowledge that, they don't have to go to school for it.
Well, you can I'm going to tell you that Stay Curious will help you facilitate contacting some of these, what we call national treasures.
Yeah.
Our rocket workers around here. We're all about the space worker. And these people seriously did a job in the shuttle era and Apollo era that never translated out there into any other segment of society unless they went back into, shooting stuff into space. So that's what, yes, that's what we're all about. And I'm here to help you, make you some contacts and so forth with some of the legends around here on your next trip or whatever. We can arrange some podcasts.
Every time I come to the Space Coast, I meet interesting people, and it's like new people every time. Last time I was here, I interviewed Mike Mongo, who's training to go to space right now. He won a seat to space through buying an NFT. What? I mean, that's just like so, the future and unique compared to how hard it was to even access space before. So I also met the first Egyptian astronaut who took a ride
Sarah
on a
Sabri.
Bezos. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, was she here?
So we interviewed Sarah.
Nice.
In fact, that's a good segue there. Tell us about meeting Sarah.
Yeah, I was down at KSC, and I was giving or getting a tour from my friend who's a rocket scientist, and he really should give tours there, honestly. But someone overheard us talking and then introduced me to his group, and Sarah was a part of that. And I'm just like, wow, there are treasures everywhere,
yes,
up and down the Space Coast. So
Sarah Sabri was when she came in to do a Stay Curious video podcast a couple months ago. you'd have thought she walked on the moon. She was so excited and wanting to share, and just 5 minutes of weightlessness, this young lady's been completely changed.
Right.
And she was just Marty and my co-producer and I were talking about, just how she's one of the best interviews we've had. And you're like our 692nd episode of Stay Curious in 2.5 years. So
wow. Well, I was born in 92.
I'll take 5 for that. Thank you.
I was born
Ellie
in 92.
from Space here on our Stay Curious Humble podcast. There. You're born in 92?
Yeah.
Oh.
So maybe it's, meant to be. Meeting Sarah, she said she had 2 weeks after she found out that she was going to mentally prepare. 2 weeks. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. And quite an ordeal there. She enjoyed it, and she went up with the restaurateur in Melbourne nearby, Steve Young's his name, that owns Pineapples over there. Plug for you, Steve, get you on.
And
there.
What is this?
Well, I thought, is there something I didn't add? I'm going to have you sign.
Oh, cool.
This is our guest list for 2022. All right. I've had many all of our guests have signed this. We have people like Jay Honeycutt, Center Director. There's astronaut J.D. Bartos on there. Astronaut John Harrington. We got Charlie Mars, our founder, or godfather's last name's Mars, Charlie Mars. Hugh Harris, old Hugh Harris, the voice of NASA's there. Sarah's is up here.
Nice.
Sarah Sabri's right up there.
That is awesome.
And Mike Lineback, launch director's up there. So, yes, we've got even Mark Usiak, Tom Usiak. We've got CB. You signed this, didn't you? Carlton Bailey. Al Kohler's a great guy. So we're going to have you sign that for us here.
I would love to.
And really enjoyed having you on our segment of Stay Curious. Wherever you wish to sign that. I wanted to mention, while Ellie's doing that people like Ellie out there with their podcasts, their columns, whatever they're doing, God bless them. And it's you have to check your facts. So make sure you do some fact checking because that's sweet. Oh, Hugh Harris is going to love that. That Ellie in Space, Hugh, right below with a little heart.
With a little heart.
Yep. And Hugh's going to be on next week. He's 89 years old, the voice of NASA. And we're going to then do something with this every year. We will have that. But this is the bicentennial out at Kennedy Visitors Complex in 1970. I guess probably on exhibit from 75 to like 1980. And this is the Saturn V there, Ellie, that's in the Saturn V building out there.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay, cool.
Was there something we didn't talk about that we're going to put this on our wall, green screen wall up there? And so appreciative that you jumped in here and took some time. She's got some beautiful Webb telescope earrings on there.
I'm glad
those are nice.
Of course you knew that, but Starbucks barista was like, "Oh, honeycomb." I'm like, "Well,
honeycomb, yeah."
You
want honey then, right? In your Starbucks in there.
You're right.
Was there something you'd like to share with people out there, particularly your audience that's watching you today?
I'll just say that I quit the news business to go full time on my channel back in May, and so it's been an adventure, and I'm hoping that it works out. But that is why I'm traveling to all of these places, because I'm trying to get the best coverage, and that's usually in person, boots on the ground type of coverage. And so I think, I'm sure many of your viewers know who Everyday Astronaut is, and these one-man band operations start pretty small, but I'm hoping that I can bring you guys unique coverage and that you enjoy it. So follow Ellie in Space. Check it out if you haven't already. I just got the custom mic flag a week ago, so things are feeling more official, but I'm more comfortable having the mic in my hand and asking the questions, so this is good practice.
Well, good. Well, I enjoy meeting you and hope that we made a friendship here that'll last on there, because my tagline going out is that you're another person who's bridging the space between everybody out there.
Yep.
And it's there's like I said, there's some what we do on Stay Curious is try and squash some of the urban myths by having people like Jay Honeycutt come in here and talk about stuff like that. So we are here to help you anytime we can help Ellie in Space. You're going to want to go out there and watch her podcast, all right? And until we have her back on again, Stay Curious. I'm Marquette saying I can't wait to see you again to bridge the space between us.
It's a good thing I wasn't wearing green.
Absolutely, it is a good thing.
I would have been keyed out.
Hit that, yeah.